unaccountably, unscrupulously, but the power for good. Kenya is a remarkable country, made up of a myriad of communities who today share an anthem and a flag, but most importantly, share a nation. We share schools, hospitals, roads, and contribute to each and every person's elevation and our shared quality of life. We are engaged in a constant endeavor to improve this our country and to make it a truly modern and developed society. And that is a noble quest to pursue. But underpinning all of this are the institutions and organizations required to maintain the apparatus that safeguard democracy and a viable state. Absence of strong institutions can only result into a failed state, an eventuality I shudder to contemplate, yet it is a reality that we have witnessed in our region. I am privileged to be addressing a conference in Nairobi and will take the opportunity to stress my commitment to the upkeep of and trust in the independence of institutions such as the IEBC, whose very creation was to ensure that as a democratic country, we conduct elections fairly, transparently, and peacefully, to ensure that the great light of democracy shines over us all. For the IEBC to be bolstered by the independence they need to maintain credibility and ensure vital public trusts, they must be given space to operate. We must not be chipping at its body with constant negative rhetoric that undermine its credibility in the court of public opinion. While their foremost obligation is to be accountable to the people of Kenya, they must not be harried by politicians or marred by partisan political warfare that taints their very foundations and respect. They need to be given not only the tools to carry out their duties, but the respect and, most importantly, our confidence to enable them to tell we politicians what is right and indeed what is wrong. Who has received more votes than the other? In our Constitution, they alone are granted the right to tally and announce results on behalf of the people whom they have been appointed to represent. And if we politicians are not satisfied with their verdict, then the Constitution of the state of Kenya has opened a door for a petition through our courts. To threaten these institutions, malign them, or disrespect these established channels for recourse is to undermine the foundations that hold together our young and fragile country. The majority of Kenyans do not have another country to run to. Kenya is all they have. And we are in this ship together. Those who would rather break this ship into two or more pieces, in case they do not get elected, should refer to Scripture. When Solomon encountered the two women who both claimed to be mother of the baby, one woman insisted that the baby should be cut into two halves. Let me say that no politician should be allowed to insist that they have the country or else they destroy it. The IBC we have today was newly formed to ensure public trust in their operations. The new IEBC should be blemish-free and be held in high esteem in the hearts of the electorate who they serve. It is legal but inappropriate when people in the political arena, whose very duty by public appointment is to uphold our freedom of choice and engender respect in the functions of our nation's governance, recklessly and selflessly engage the IEBC in endless political battles. It pains me to remember 2007, when as a result of the contested ballot, so many of our country men and women suffered violence, were displaced from their homes, and are still suffering from the mindless and tragic consequences of post-election violence. But as painful as that memory is, it must remain to serve as a warning. It is the constant preaching of an ideology of hate premised on ethnicity or religion that creates the basis for suspicions that compel an otherwise normal person to turn against his neighbor, to kill or maim or chase away. It is not those with influence and power who suffer. It is not those who use words as weapons or seek to deploy deceit in order to control, who suffer the consequences of such actions. It is innocent people, the very people politicians are elected to serve and protect. Any attack against the IEBC is an attack upon an important pillar that is a guardian of our democracy. Yes, I agree that the IEBC, like all public bodies, and indeed politicians themselves, must be accountable. We must have confidence in its operations. So vital are they to democracy, and in order to do so, any doubts must be dispelled. Yet what I have seen in recent months is not a unified effort to rid our processes of doubt, but instead the willful manufacture of doubt designed to taint our processes. This, fellow Kenyans, must stop for the sake of our country and our people. We are a young country made up of a fabric of diversity in which we should all be proud. We have not the heritage of unity and history of democracies that acts as a reassurance to citizens in older nations. But our democracy was hard won, and it should be unashamedly protected. We must lead by example and give our people the peace of mind that they deserve, to go out and use their civic right to vote, knowing that they do so with freedom and in the confidence that their voice is equal to all others, and that their stake in Kenya is as valued as all others. This means committing to nonviolence. This means standing up for those who have been disenfranchised and standing up to those who wish to disenfranchise others. This means showing the world proudly that we are more than fit to govern ourselves, more than fit to care for each other, and more than fit to make big decisions together. I want to reassure all Kenyans that commitment to peace and stability is so close to my heart that I will never mortgage it for any false gain. Because without peace and stability, we cannot grow and we cannot prosper. And each and every one of us suffers as a result. Without peace, we cannot have development. And without development, we cannot have peace. We must exhibit the maturity and skills to navigate this country through its challenges in peace for our sake, our children, and our children's children. We must secure our country, hand it on to the next generation so that they can build their futures upon the solid foundations of a free and democratic nation. Yet all around the world, so many people are denied that basic right. We, as a democratic nation, must not squander what millions dream to have. That means that if you, the people, tell me on August 8th that you want fresh leadership, I will humbly stand aside and ensure a respectful and peaceful transition of power, and I urge my successor to love and care for this great nation as I have tried to do. Ladies and gentlemen may recall that in 2002, when I lost the elections, I conceded long before the vote count was even completed. That action ensured a smooth transition. I am proud of that record of conceding, and I urge, or maybe even challenge, my competitors in this year's contest to pronounce themselves on this matter unequivocally. No buts. Just commit to ensure peace and accept the verdict of the majority of Kenyans. I did it, and I waited for 10 years for another chance, and here we are. I also urge all politicians contending for the highest honor of representing not just your constituency, but your people and your country to ponder the values such an individual should exhibit. I urge all contenders in this election to conduct themselves with the humility and decorum that public office not only demands of its actors, but desperately needs if we are to continue to grow as a nation. The mosaic of politicians that we will elect on August 8th must come together with one common goal: to help to deliver the best possible Kenya for all of us. We may represent different parties, but we are united on the same journey as architects of Kenya's future. It is our mutual responsibility to put disagreements to one side, to embrace maturity of mind, propriety of conduct, and decency of heart, to respect each other's differences of opinion, and lend the mutual support we require to bring out the best in each other as individuals, and in so doing, bring out the best in our country. I want to thank all those who have agreed to participate at this important event in Nairobi, and I want to leave you with one final thought. Elections come and elections go. Kenya, God willing, will have many more presidents to come who will all want to leave a unique mark on our great nation's history. But we as citizens, neighbors, and friends all leave indelible prints on each other's lives each and every day. Do not let democracy be sacrificed, ignored, or abused. Do not let an election leave a mark on anybody's life that undermines, disrespects, or maims, or kills. Let this election be the most transparent, respected, and proudest that Kenya has ever seen, because that is the least that you all deserve, and that we owe to you, and that you all owe to each other. Unfortunately, due to unavoidable circumstances, I was unable to sign our commitment as a party to peaceful elections at this moment in time. But I do pledge to sign it as soon as I am back in Nairobi. Let me emphasize again that we, as Jubilee, are committed to free, fair, transparent, credible, and peaceful elections. I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.